Many of these races decide, okay, let's just pool our resources. And they move their eat-ins to a continent in the Pacific. Those star nations were the Lyrans, this is who founded Lemuria, Sirius A, Pleiades, races from Tegeta and Meropa, specifically. Those two star systems. Ursa Minor and Butes, which is Nibiru. This is 71,933 BC. Lemuria is established as a collective colony. So now everybody's working together. Good sign. That's a good sign. It didn't last, however. 57,600 BC. Atlantis is founded. Now, somewhere between the establishment of Lemuria and the establishment of Atlantis, the Pleiadians get pissed off and they leave. A misunderstanding. They come back. They come back to the star system. And Atlantis is founded 57,600 BC. It's the Pleiadians again, the Nibiru, Antarians, the Hyades, a group from Sagittarius, and the Andromedans make a guest appearance. Ta-da! Atlantis, Pleiadians, Andromedans, Butes, which is Nibiru. You know, but you might as well know where they're from. Aldebaran, Antarians, the Hyades, which is right here, and Sagittarians. With the exception of Nibiru, all of these are O2s that establish Atlantis.
O2 except which?
O2 breathers, with the exception of Nibiru. Some of them, of the Nibiruan tribe, are oxygen breathers, okay, because they come from Sirius. But those that come from Butes are hydrogen. But they can still operate and function as long as they wear a helmet. 31,017 BC, Lemuria is destroyed in war. 27,603 BC, Atlantis is destroyed. Let's talk about the sea car. Alpha Draconis, the ancestral line of the reptilian races in our galaxy. The sea car themselves, according to legend, do not know exactly where their home system is either. That's how big the universe is, or the galaxies are. Okay, yeah, the universe. Okay, that's how big it is. According to the Andromedans, there are 100 billion galaxies known and mapped in the known universe. Okay, the sea car, an absolute amazing race. The oldest known reptilian race in our galaxy. They are, in fact, the only genetic line of their kind that is not extinct. Now, when we talk about that's extinct, they have found remnants of others that came after but were extinct. Most of the reptilian civilizations that we know of today, in Butes, Orion, Capella, they are all genetic manipulated half-breeds of the original sea car race. They stand 18 to 25 feet tall and can weigh up to 2,500 pounds. They're like Tyrannosaurus rexes. You know, they're monsters. Up to 2,500 pounds. They have black, leathery brown scaled bellies. They have multiple abdomens. They have whiskers along their chin and jawline. They had a mating claw and multiple tongues. They lay eggs. And what is called a battle hormone is used to accelerate the birthing process. This is why ancestral females did not participate in war. It's because if they did, There wouldn't be anybody there to help with the eggs. They also have to be there to secrete this hormone. Stronger young females were expected to defeat and kill older and weaker leaders in ritual combat. The Seeker race is ruled and managed by genetic lines, genetic lineage. And genetic lineage always follows the mother, because you always know who the mother is. You don't always know who the father is. In that particular line, the gals have all the say. Ruled by a monarchy of a queen genetic lineage, they are one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. They have some of the greatest military might that has ever been seen in the galaxy. And most of the clan members are zealots and will do anything for the glory of their clans, of their lineage. They have been the chief enemy of all human races in this galaxy in past conflicts. Again, we're talking about hydrogen breathers versus oxygen breathers. They have 3 spinal columns. One spine is located ventrally near the stomach. The other 2 are located dorsally on the left and on the right of the Seeker's body. The spinal columns join near the dorsal of the geometric center at the extreme posterior of the trunk to form a long and very powerful tail. Inside of the hands or claws of the Seeker are jelly-like sacs that excrete various hormones and substances when the Seeker is aroused, either for sex or for battle. The primary purpose of these enzymes is to initiate encrusting of sperm. You know, there is an amazing amount of life out there. They look at us and they think we're beasts as well, honestly. I'm going to talk about the Lyrans. Now, when I'm talking about the Lyrans, and then I'm going to talk about the human race as a whole, I'm also talking about us and our ancestors and all the ancestors of the ancient Lyran line, genetic line. The human race is unusual in having all of its members' race derive from one genetic line. That's an amazing thing. Okay, we'll talk about the Lyrans. Their skin color is amber, blue, and or red. The color of the stars in their planetary systems is what caused skin tint to change, okay, depending upon the frequency and the UV ultraviolet scale of their stars. They're mammalian descent. They are the only human race to have full empathy senses and full sonic, bosonic abilities, and have experienced quantum probability control. I'm still working on that. Well, you got to understand, these are extraterrestrials who know what this all means. They are also considered today a retired race that has very little intercourse with other main civilizations. They have been known to monitor and provide guidance for some planetary systems. Some planetary systems today see them as their protectors and guides. What's interesting is that the Lyrans prefer to live on ringed worlds. They just have a preference for living on ringed worlds. And on the Andromedan Council, they are known as an elder race, which carries great prestige on the Council. Because extraterrestrial civilizations, ladies and gentlemen, really pay close attention to genetic lineage. The human race is unusual in having all of its member races derive from one genetic line. This accounts for the remarkable casual interactions of the great human civilizations. But for better or for worse, human galactic civilizations, even if they compose a single clan, have diverse evolutionary histories. Okay? Each culture is very different in the way that they've evolved. Not as a species, but as a culture. and misunderstandings and conflicts have occurred. Traditions exist to minimize the likelihood of misunderstandings and to lessen the negative consequences of any miscommunications that might occur. So they put in place, they were sentient enough to know that they needed to put things in place to try to minimize human versus human war. In addition, the behavior of individuals does reflect on the species and the clan. Okay, now this is an Andromedan race, an Andromedan human race, sharing this with us. That individuals, the actions of individuals of those races, does reflect on the entire clan. None are faulted for polite or proper behavior. Informality is always at risk of being misconstrued or miscommunicated. The traditions of human interaction were developed by the ancestors over the ages. When an elder race insists that a new civilization observe traditions, an example, the Andromedans come down, they introduce themselves, they say, okay boys, it's time to go to the show. What happens is, in the show being the Andromedan Council, we are being asked to be invited to the Andromedan Council. What they will do is they will teach us the tradition, the proper way of introducing yourself, of acting before all these other civilizations. Because you will be misinterpreted if you walk in, hey, oh man, what's happening? You know, it'd be completely misunderstood. Yo, blood, what's up? That a young civilization observe traditions. It helps the young races build a culture that will function well in galactic civilization, as well as help guarantee that this young race will become a virtuous and productive member of the galactic commonwealth. That's exactly Moronae's verbiage. I took it word for word. The galactic commonwealth. It is important that all humans be as polite as possible. This helps both the young and the old cultures, because many old are socio-biologically dependent on ritual. They have become so conditioned that this is just the way you do it. And their civilizations, their traditions are so deeply embedded that they're not going to change. We have that same situation here on our planet. We do. And can be psychologically disturbed by informal and rude behavior. That's what he says. If the occasion calls for it, apologize and then speak only when spoken to. Never touch a fellow elder race person unless you are specifically asked to. Now, that leads me to something that I was taught, which I did when I was brought on board, and I met other races. And this is what the Andromedans do when they meet another race. And I was taught to teach this to everyone here, which I've done, so I'm going to do it again. When you have a contact and you're standing before an extraterrestrial or extraterrestrials, you stand, yourself square, you bow, never taking your eyes off of them, and you say, it is the manner and custom when entering my space that permission be asked. You say it very clearly, because what you are doing is you are declaring your sovereignty and you are declaring your space, because we are not that well thought of. So it's important to do something like this. You got 10 seconds to make a good first impression. It is the manner and custom when entering my space that permission be asked. We would have to do it verbally. They would probably respond telepathically.